The numbers of truck accidents on that New South Wales North Coast section of the Pacific Highway, that was called the killing fields.
Right, I've got that on camera.
Yeah, so do I, mate. I've got it coming up behind him.
Right, I'm going to ring the coppers on that.
Go for it, because you were pushing me off the road, prick.
Blocking drivers in between trucks and forcing them off the road.
Oh, this couldn't drive a greasy stick up a dog's ass!
Heavy vehicle drivers smashing motorists' windscreens with cheetah bars. A lot of drugs in the industry. For a long time there, I was a vigilante, parked on the side of the highway, trying to get trucks off the road. And I decided I had to do something from the inside.
Right now there's a severe shortage of truck drivers in Australia, and simply put, without trucks, Australia stops. What that means is potentially no food on our supermarket shelves, no mail in your letterbox, no fuel at the Bowser.
You should give a toss. You should care. Trucks are vital to our everyday way of life as we know it.
To meet demand, the trucking industry needs to boost driver numbers by 150%. Currently, there's around 200,000 truck drivers across Australia. Their average age is 47. Less than 1 in 5 truckies are under 30, while women make up just 3% of the workforce.
I'm the only female truck driver in the company I work for, and I have 60 male colleagues, and that's where the nickname Mother Trucker came from, but thank goodness. But I was very nasty in those early days. I was called a motherfucker quite often.
Now, 59-year-old Lyndall Denny, alongside a handful of self-described mother truckers, are driving change in the industry like never before.
Walk past and there's like a wolf whistle, or they might stand too close, or they'll come up and chuck their arm around you and they'll go, oh, you're the hottest truck driver I've ever seen. I've even had a guy in a B double pulled up next to me and he was asking for my phone number over the CB radio and stuff like that. I said, I don't know why more women aren't in it.
Blaze Williams is 26. New to driving trucks, she's also a part-time model and Western pleasure champion. That's a highly skilled horse riding competition. For Blaze, being on the open road takes her mind off losing her father.
When I was younger, my dad was in the Gypsy Jokers. He's been missing since I was 13. My whole world, I just didn't know what to do. I just fell on the ground, sort of in a heap, and it's not like they're dead and you can go and say goodbye or anything like that. They're just gone. When I think of Dad, like if I'm driving along work, he would be just beyond proud and like happy with everything I've done. Like he would have loved the fact that I've gotten women into it. To me, if I put myself in a situation in like a male-dominated industry like that and then was offended by like flat-out sexism, then you would never survive. I mean, I do local, so I mean interstate could be different.
I drive a Western Star pulling a B double. I will leave Adelaide at night time and I'll drive through to Melbourne. Where I feel most vulnerable would be different truck stops.
The hardest part of having Christy as a truck driver, out on the highway, she's so vulnerable. Truck drivers are either trying to hit on her or they do everything they can to make her life hard.
It sort of feels like everyone's expecting you to fail.
Christy is 29. Having the support of her partner Dale, who's also a truckie, keeps her going in what's said to be one of Australia's deadliest jobs.
More women as truck drivers in the industry could help it, but yeah, the females would have to be thick-skinned because it's like putting a chicken in a pen full of roosters.
There was one time I'd spent the night in a truck stop, woke up the next morning, all the other trucks had gone except for one truck, and I saw this man and he said to me, you do realise when you hang your towel over the bull bar like that you're saying that you're looking for a bit of action. Nobody else around for hundreds of kilometres. I was really terrified.
Lyndall Denny's been driving heavy vehicles for 5 years, but for a long time she was public enemy number 1 against the trucking industry.
For a long time there, I was a vigilante, parked on the side of the highway, trying to get trucks off the road.
Lyndall set up a website where motorists could report reckless truck drivers.
In the first month that website was up, the stories of thousands and thousands of other motorists came to light. and I decided I had to do something on the inside. I went from being a truck driver hater, came over to the dark side. I got my truck licence, and there's been a lot of work done in the industry to get that minority off the road. My vision is to see a lot more women out there behind the wheels of the big rigs.
The industry needs to be open to the fact that young women are able to do the job. They could potentially fill a huge gap.
For more than 35 years, Sharon Middleton has managed 3 depots, 28 long-haul trucks and 50 drivers, plus pulling triple trains across the country herself. How do you prepare women to work in an industry that is very male-dominated?
It's not for everybody. Not everybody, if they can't make it to a proper toilet block, wants to drop their DACs on the side of the road, for instance. I think we've come a long way, and I think we continue to make headway because the women that are doing it are fantastic.
Why is there such a shortage of truck drivers in Australia at the moment?
I can answer that simply. It's the fact that it's not a profession, for one.
So what do we need to make truck driving a profession, as you say?
So we need our bureaucrats and politicians to make it a profession so that there's actually proper career choices that people can make and courses that they can take and proper training delivered.
But it's not just sexism or lack of training keeping women away from trucking.
Every time we get in the truck, it's putting your life at risk. It's quite daunting sometimes with how close things can be and the sights we see. That plays on your mind all the time on how dangerous it is.
In April 2016, the federal government shut down the tribunal that was investigating safety in trucking, excessive speeding, driver fatigue and holding major companies to account. Since this watchdog was abolished, there have been 399 people killed in truck crashes. And drivers like Dale say the demands that large companies put on them aren't making it any easier or safer.
A lot of truck drivers have time slots for Woolies, Coles, IGA, and if you miss it, then yeah, they'll reject the load. That's when you've got to push yourself where you don't want to push yourself to make these sort of time slots.
There is a lot of work that needs to be done, and I plan to drive a lot of that change. My vision for the future would be to see gender parity.
For any women looking to get into the industry, I would definitely say give it a go.
It has probably made me tougher. Yeah, when there's nothing else around and you're just travelling by yourself, you're just free. I just turn the music up and go.
Get behind this industry and give us a hand to improve its image, attract young people, and let's get some decent people in there and let's get this country moving.
If an almost 60-year-old mother trucker can do it, then anybody can do it.